Hello everyone, this is News Distillate, your go-to source for daily news updates, where we will provide you with the latest news without taking up too much of your time. And now, let's get started with our first news with my co-host Emma.
Good evening everyone, thank you Hussein. My name is Emma, and I'm here to bring you the latest news from Thailand. In a vote that many saw as a referendum on the 9 years of military-backed rule that brought the current Prime Minister Prayuth Chan-o-cha to power, unofficial results show the opposition parties surging towards victory. With almost all of the votes counted, the Pheu Thai Party, the latest version of the populist political machine of the deposed Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra, is projected to have won 141 seats, while the progressive upstart Move Forward Party won 151. This was propelled by voters like 38-year-old Nurse Tidawan, who voted in the northeastern city of Konkan, 25-year-old Wachiraporn Tawimanikot, who cast her vote for Move Forward in the capital, Bangkok, said, "I just wanted to see something new, something better. Now we need a new thing to bring us into the future, to bring us forward." Move Forward ran on a platform of the 3 Ds, demilitarize, demonopolize, and decentralize, which their candidate for Prime Minister Pita Limjaroenrat said was the way to democratize Thailand. This means taking the military out of politics so that there are no more military coups every 7 years. They also championed marriage equality, an end to military conscription, and amendments to the controversial lèse-majesté laws that prohibit any criticism of the Thai monarchy. Roughly 52 million Thais were eligible to vote in this election, and turnout was thought to be high, as military-linked parties struggled to convince voters they should stay in power after nearly a decade of slow economic growth and a crackdown on pro-democracy activists in the past several years. The party of the Prime Minister was on pace for a 6th-place finish, according to initial projections. Though no major problems were reported during the voting, Human Rights Watch has called the elections fundamentally flawed, occurring within the framework of a 2017 constitution written by a commission appointed by the military following its 2014 coup. Political analyst Thetinan Pongsudarak from Bangkok's Chulalongkorn University says the threat of dissolution looms large over this election too. Official results aren't expected for weeks, with a new parliament and a new prime minister to be named by July. So, Hussein, what news do you have for us?
Oh, today we have some interesting news. Have you ever wondered how hammerhead sharks can survive deep dives in cold waters? Well, new research has revealed that these amazing creatures can actually hold their breath while diving deep underwater. You see, sharks are ectothermic or cold-blooded, which means that their body temperature is the same as the waters they swim in. To do deep dives, they must conserve body heat, and the best way to do that is to tightly close their gill slits. This is similar to what we do when we take a cold bath. It's a shock to our system. Some other large fish have specialized anatomy that allows them to stay warmer at great depths, but scalloped hammerheads do not. So how is it that a coastal warm tropical species is able to go down into these deep depths and survive? Well, it turns out that these sharks are able to keep their body temperature steady by closing their gill slits and preventing the water from flowing across their gills that would cool their body down. This behavior is seen in marine mammals, but unlike animals with lungs, the sharks don't return to the surface to breathe. Instead, they simply go to a depth where it's warm enough for them to feel comfortable and open their gills again. This research is an incredible example of how new electronic tags and sensors are helping to explain the extraordinary persistence of these animals across 400 million years of changing ocean environments. It's amazing to think that these creatures have been able to adapt and survive in such a harsh environment. So there you have it, a testament to the incredible adaptability of hammerhead sharks. Back to you, Emma.
Thank you, Hussein. This week, tech mogul Elon Musk announced that Linda Yaccarino, an advertising executive from NBC Universal, will be the new CEO of Twitter. Musk said that he will focus on product design and new technology, while Yaccarino will focus on business operations. He also mentioned that they will work together to transform Twitter into an everything app. Yaccarino has a long history in the media industry, having worked at Turner Broadcasting System, owned by Warner Bros. Discovery, for over a decade. She recently left NBC Universal, and Musk and Yaccarino even appeared together on stage at a marketing conference in Miami in April. At the conference, Yaccarino asked Musk about Twitter's new freedom of speech not reach safety policy, which allows people to express their opinions without fear of censorship. Musk also discussed how Twitter has adjacency controls to prevent advertisements from appearing next to negative content. Twitter has been struggling with advertising sales due to the harsh economic climate for tech companies and the media industry. Yaccarino is the second executive to leave NBC Universal in recent weeks, following the ousting of CEO Jeff Shell after an employee filed a formal complaint accusing him of sexual harassment. It's clear that Twitter is looking to make some big changes, and Yaccarino's appointment is a sign of the company's commitment to adapting to the changing business landscape. We can only hope that these changes will help Twitter become the everything app that Musk envisions. Back to you, Hussein.
Thank you, Emma. It's a wild world out there, and today we're talking about a wild animal, the koala. Australian scientists have started a field trial to vaccinate wild koalas against chlamydia, a disease that can cause blindness, infertility, and even death. It's a heartbreaking situation, but science is helping to make a difference. The goal of the trial is to catch, vaccinate, and monitor around half of the koala population in the Northern Rivers region of New South Wales. That means vaccinating around 50 animals. The scientists want to understand the impact of vaccinating a population of wild koalas and how many need to be vaccinated to reduce infection and disease. To catch the koalas, researchers use binoculars to spot them in eucalyptus trees, then construct circular enclosures around the tree bases with doors leading into cages. After a few hours or days, the koalas will eventually wander into the harmless traps. Once the koalas are caught, they're taken to a wildlife hospital for a checkup. If they're in good condition, the researchers administer anesthesia and shots of vaccine, then keep them under observation for 24 hours after they wake up to confirm there are no unexpected side effects. The koalas are then marked with a dab of pink dye on their backs to ensure the same animals aren't caught twice. Finally, they're released back into the wild. It's a heartwarming sight to see the koalas bound up the tree trunks after being released. Koalas are iconic Australian marsupials like wombats and kangaroos. They spend most of their time eating and sleeping in eucalyptus trees, and their paws have two opposing thumbs to help them grasp and climb up trunks. Unfortunately, Australia's wild koala populations have declined steeply in the past 2 decades, and around half of wild koalas in Queensland are already infected with chlamydia. Vaccinating wild koalas is a tricky business. Scientists have to balance the risk of disturbing the animals against the danger of allowing the disease to spread. The trial was approved by multiple government bodies, and the benefits are likely to outweigh the risks for koalas. So while Linda Yaccarino's appointment as Twitter CEO is a sign of the times, it's also inspiring to see the power of science to make a difference in the lives of wild koalas. We can only hope that the koalas of New South Wales will be healthier and more protected in the years to come.
Hussein, that's a really inspiring story about the koalas. It's amazing to see the power of science to make a difference in the wild.
Absolutely. It's a great example of how we can help protect our wildlife. Okay, what's our next news, Emma?
Thank you, Hussein. It's amazing how two stories from opposite sides of the world can have a common theme. In India, a group of brave women are taking action to protect the environment by harvesting seaweed. It's not an easy job, but these intrepid women are determined to make a living and keep their tradition alive. Every morning, the women prepare for their day by bandaging their fingers and wearing rubber slippers to protect their feet from the sharp rocks on the seabed. They put on goggles and dive underwater for up to 2 or 3 minutes at a time, harvesting seaweed for 5 to 6 hours a day. It's not for the faint-hearted, as Bhagavati jokes, and that's why you won't see any men here. The women's schedule is governed by the lunar cycle. They collect seaweed a week after the new moon and a week before the full moon, when the tides are weaker and the water's gentler. After they return to their village, the seaweed is weighed and sold to local factories. The job comes with risks. The women can get injured by sharp rocks or poisonous fish, and if there's an accident, they all have to return to the village, resulting in a loss of income. There are also legislative roadblocks, such as the Gulf of Manor Marine National Park, where seaweed extraction is illegal. The women also face challenges on land. Many of the men in the community are addicted to alcohol, squandering their fishing income and putting pressure on the women to dive for more seaweed. To help, the government has agreed to give the women ID cards so they can collect seaweed without repercussions. It's a testament to the courage of these women that they continue to harvest seaweed despite the risks. They are determined to make a living and protect the islands they love. So let's take a moment to appreciate the hard work of these women who are doing their part to ensure a better future.
That's an incredible story, Emma. It's amazing how these women are risking their lives to make a living and protect their islands.
Absolutely. It's a testament to their courage and determination. Let's take a moment to appreciate their hard work.
Absolutely. They are doing their part to ensure a better future.
Yes, they are. Okay, what's our next news, Hussein?
Thank you, Emma. It's a sad day in Texas as a petrochemical plant in the Houston area caught fire on Friday, leaving 5 workers hospitalized and sending up a huge plume of smoke visible from miles away. The fire erupted at the Shell facility in Deer Park, a suburb east of Houston, and emergency responders were called to help around 3 p.m. Harris County Sheriff Ed Gonzalez said the 5 contracted employees were hospitalized for precautionary reasons. But they weren't burned. They were taken to a hospital due to heat exhaustion and proximity to the fire. Thankfully, nothing exploded, although the sheriff's office initially responded to emergency calls saying there was an explosion. The fire at Shell's Deer Park Chemicals facility started at about 2:56 p.m. in the olefins unit, which produces cracked heavy gas oil, cracked light gas oil, and gasoline. The cause of the fire is still being investigated, and officials are monitoring the air for any impact from the fire. Fire crews from the plant, as well as nearby plants, responded to the blaze. Wind conditions were favorable for fighting the fire, but the high temperatures and humidity made it feel like it was over 100 degrees Fahrenheit, 37.8 degrees Celsius. The Harris County Fire Marshal's office will be in Deer Park through the weekend, interviewing everyone who was at the unit at the time of the fire, the controllers, management, and anyone who called 911. It's important to remember that these brave workers are risking their lives to protect the environment. We need to keep them in our thoughts and prayers and take steps to prevent similar tragedies from happening in the future. Thanks for tuning in, and I hope to see you all again tomorrow. Stay safe.